On a cold morning in February 1258, the greatest city in the world stood moments away from its destruction. This was Baghdad, the heart of the Islamic Golden Age, a city where light seemed to bounce off every surface. From the bustling markets filled with goods from across the known world to the gleaming domes of its mosques, inside quiet courtyards, scholars leaned over manuscripts, their pens scratching, preserving and creating knowledge that would shape the future. The city was a beacon of civilization, a testament to what humanity could achieve. But on that morning, a shadow was falling. A vast, unstoppable force was gathering just outside its walls, and no one, not the Caliph in his palace, nor the merchants in the bazaar, knew that the end was coming. The end of their city, and the end of an era. For nearly 500 years, Baghdad was more than just a city. It was an idea. Founded in the 8th century by the Abbasid Caliphate, it was designed to be the center of the world, and for centuries it was. Its circular walls enclosed a model of urban planning, a metropolis of a million souls. At its heart was the House of Wisdom, a legendary library and academy that drew the greatest minds from every corner of the earth. Here, scholars of all faiths, Muslims, Christians, and Jews worked side by side. They translated the ancient works of the Greeks, Persians, and Indians into Arabic, saving them from being lost to time. But they didn't just preserve knowledge, they built upon it. They pioneered algebra, advanced medicine, mapped the stars with incredible accuracy, and wrote poetry that still echoes today. The streets of Baghdad were safe, its markets were prosperous, and its people were educated. It was a golden age of science, culture, and tolerance, and Baghdad was its shining capital. Far to the east, a storm was gathering. A new power had risen from the steppes of Mongolia, an empire forged in conquest and fire. They were the Mongols, and they were marching west. Leading the charge was Hulagu Khan, the grandson of the legendary Genghis Khan. Hulagu was a brilliant but ruthless commander, and his reputation preceded him. Tales of his conquests spread like wildfire, tales of cities that resisted and were turned to dust, their populations wiped from existence. The Mongol army was a terrifyingly efficient war machine. Their horse archers could rain down arrows with deadly precision. Their siege engineers could dismantle the strongest fortifications, and their numbers seemed endless. As they swept across Persia, a wave of fear washed over the Middle East. One by one, ancient cities and kingdoms fell before them. And now, this unstoppable force had its sights set on the greatest prize of all, the city of peace, Baghdad. While the Mongol threat grew larger every day, Baghdad was rotting from within. The mighty Abbasid Caliphate, which had once ruled a vast empire stretching from Spain to India, was a shadow of its former self. Its power had crumbled over the centuries, leaving the Caliph with authority over little more than the city itself. The Caliph at the time, Al-Mustasim, was a man more interested in poetry and leisure than in statecraft or military strategy. He underestimated the danger at his gates, believing the prestige of his title and the history of his city would protect him. His advisors were divided. Some urged him to submit to the Mongols and pay tribute, while others, blinded by pride, advised resistance. The city's army was small and poorly equipped, a far cry from the formidable forces the Caliphate once commanded. Political infighting and internal divisions paralyzed the government. As Hulagu Khan's envoys arrived with an ultimatum: surrender or face annihilation, the Caliph's court debated and delayed. This hesitation, this internal weakness, would seal Baghdad's fate. In January 1258, the Mongol horde arrived. The people of Baghdad looked out from their walls to see a sea of tents and banners stretching to the horizon. Hulagu Khan had assembled a massive army, drawing soldiers from across his vast empire. The siege began. The Mongols dug a trench and built a wall around the city, cutting off all supplies and escape routes. Then the bombardment started. Hundreds of catapults, some so large they had to be assembled on site, began to hurl massive rocks against Baghdad's ancient walls. Flaming projectiles soared through the air, setting fire to buildings near the city's edge. Day and night, the relentless assault continued. The sound was deafening, a constant thunder of crashing stone, splintering wood, and the distant war cries of the Mongol army. Inside the city, panic turned to terror. The once proud walls, which had stood for centuries, began to crumble. One by one, the towers fell. Hulagu's engineers diverted a part of the Tigris River to weaken the foundations of a key section of the Eastern Wall. Soon, a breach was made. The end was near. After 2 weeks of relentless siege, the Mongols poured through the broken walls. What followed was not a battle, but a massacre. The city that was once the center of the civilized world descended into chaos. The streets, once filled with poets and philosophers, ran red with blood. Buildings were set ablaze, and the smoke choked the sky, turning day into an eerie twilight. People fled in terror, but there was nowhere to go. The Mongol soldiers showed no mercy. The great mosques, palaces, and hospitals were looted and then burned to the ground. But the greatest tragedy was the destruction of the House of Wisdom and the city's other libraries. These treasure houses of knowledge, containing hundreds of thousands of irreplaceable manuscripts on science, philosophy, and literature, were systematically destroyed. Eyewitness accounts describe soldiers using the leather-bound books to build stables for their horses. The priceless scrolls were thrown into the Tigris River. It is said that so many books were tossed into the water that the river ran black with ink for days, and later red with the blood of the slaughtered scholars. The Caliph and his family were captured and executed, bringing the 500-year-old Abbasid dynasty to a brutal end. For 40 days, the destruction continued, until the vibrant city of Baghdad was little more than a smoldering ruin. The fall of Baghdad was more than the destruction of a single city. It was a catastrophic blow to civilization. This event is widely seen as the end of the Islamic Golden Age. The intellectual heart of the Islamic world had been ripped out. The vast loss of knowledge was immeasurable. Centuries of scholarship, scientific discovery, and artistic creation vanished in the flames and the waters of the Tigris. The intricate irrigation canals that had supported the region's agriculture for thousands of years were destroyed, turning fertile land into desert and crippling the region for centuries to come. The political landscape of the Middle East was forever changed. The central authority of the Caliphate was gone, replaced by Mongol rule, while learning and culture would eventually flourish again in other parts of the Islamic world, like in Cairo and Istanbul. The unique concentration of brilliance that was Abbasid Baghdad was lost forever. The world had lost its brightest light. Civilizations, like people, are born, they flourish, and they can fall. The story of Baghdad is a powerful reminder that nothing is permanent, that even the greatest achievements can be swept away by the tides of history. But the legacy of Baghdad did not completely die in 1258. The knowledge it saved and created had already spread, finding its way to Europe and helping to spark the Renaissance. History is not just a record of triumphs and tragedies, it's a collection of lessons. The fall of Baghdad teaches us about the fragility of peace and the immense value of knowledge. It reminds us that what is truly timeless is not stone and gold, but the ideas and the spirit of inquiry that drive humanity forward. Thank you for watching. If you found this story meaningful, please like, share, and subscribe for more journeys into the past.